Hi, my name's Yvonne and I'm a UK Stampin' Up demonstrator, and what I'm going to show you today is a project that uses 12 by 12 DSP paper and also uses the scraps up that you've got left over. So here it is, and it's a folder. So what we have here, I've got a magnetic clasp on it on this one, and inside you've got pockets. So I'll just turn it this way. So I've created 5 pockets, and the pocket at the back is for your envelopes. So you put your cards in here and your envelopes at the back, and then it all nicely folds up. It's a really nice project, and the fact is that you're actually using the papers as well to make the cards inside. So that's the test one that I did. So this is a template. The cardstock I'm going to be using is note cards. So this is the template for the note cards. So the measurements are, it's 5 inches by 9.5 inches. You've got a score mark at a 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches, and a score mark there of 3 3/4. And what you're going to do to make the pocket is you'll cut away this part here. You'll do an angle cut there, and then you'll cut away this part. Now save these parts because we're going to use them. So the idea is that you'll fold in the parts, stick it, and then that'll create your pocket. So I'll just quickly show you one. Oops. So this is the note card I'm using, and this is the pocket I've created. So that's the shape you're looking for on your cuts and folds. So that folds into there, that folds across there, stick it down, and you've made your first pocket. So I'll just quickly do that. I'm just going to use some tear and tape for speed, but I would suggest you use a good adhesive for this part. Now just before I stick it down, I am going to use my punch where I can find it, and I put it down and I can't see it. I'll just use this one. What you need to do is just cut it out a 1/2 circle on your pocket, and then it'll make it easier for you to get your cards out. So I've stuck those two together, folded it over, and that's your pocket. Right, so from this paper is the Share What You Love suite, the 12 by 12s. It's better if you use 12 by 12s, especially if you want to go for a bigger card as well. I've got a template here for the bigger card. I've just altered the sizes so it fits one of our standard A2 cards. So it's the same principle, just made it slightly bigger. So from the scraps of making the pocket, what I have done is I've cut the scraps down. So these are 1/2 inch strips, and I've just cut them down, and I'm going to put them across a double-sided paper. I'm just going to put them on the card like so. I'll just probably put one down there, just to give you an idea. So by using the scraps, I've created a card, and it matches the pocket as well. So it's a great way to use up DSP. So I'm just going to quickly stick these on with my Tombow. And it comes out. Just remember which side you're putting on. And this coordinates really nicely. So part of this project as well is I'm using the same stamp set. And the stamp set I am using, we'll show you in a second. Come on. Turn and tape for this bit as well. I love this idea of actually using your scraps up in a different way. So definitely don't throw the bits and pieces that you actually cut from the actual pocket card that you made, because you can absolutely use them. That goes there. Probably not very straight, but hey. So then all I've done is I've stamped a sentiment on a piece of white Whisper White cardstock and used the Richrazzleberry to do a mat underneath. So the stamp set that I'm using for the whole project is this, which is Picture Perfect Birthday. So it's a perfect stamp set for doing something like this, where you just want either happy birthday or celebrate or things like that on some cards. So I am just going to put some 3D foam. Now this 3D foam is just some old stuff that I'm using up. Just put one piece on there. And that is your first card, and then that will go into your pocket. I can get it in there. So that's the first pocket. The next one is this one here. So again, I've got my pocket and I've got my card, so I'll make my card up. So I've done this, I've cut this ahead of time, so I've used, again, this is the offcut from this piece of paper, from when you're cutting it down. I've cut it into 1¼ inch pieces. So I'm just going to quickly glue this down. And stick it on there. And if you can be really clever when you're cutting your paper down, you can make the pattern match. I mean, this is just by chance that it's actually matching. So depending on what sort of paper that you're using, then you can actually match the pattern up, which I think is excellent. And then finally we've got the sentiment. So on this time I've used crumb cake to stamp the sentiment, and it can just sit on there. I'll probably use 3D foam again. You can use your Stampin' Dimensionals and then just pop that on there, and then that will fit into take the backing paper off. That will fit into that pocket. So this time I've pre-done my half moon circle, but you don't have to have that, it's just in the design. Right, so what I'm going to show you now is I've done the others. What I'm going to show you is how you put it all together. Right, so we have this piece of Whisper White, which is 3 3/4 by 4 inches. Now I've drawn these lines on here just to highlight where the score marks are. So you score on the 4-inch side, you score at 1/2 inch, and then at 3.5 inches, and then you score every 1/4 inch. So that's, I've just drawn the lines in just to show you where you need to score, and what you're going to create is a hinge system. So when you fold in, so you've got your 1/2 inch, and you have a flat part, and then you have a raised part, so you need a point there. Then you have a flat part and a point there, a flat part, point there, flat part and point there. And the effect you're trying to do is this. So when you're folding, you fold the first one up, the second one up, and then the third fold down. So that's the second part of the hinge. The third part is you need to put in your either tear and tape or glue. So what you're going to do is on the underside, so you've got you're going to have your 1/2 inch mark, you're going to leave 2 unglued and glue the 4th one, glue, leave 2, glue the next one, leave 2, glue the next one, leave 2, glue the next one, and that will create little valleys. So you've got a flat part and a pointy part. So that is the finish of the hinge. So you've got your 1/2 inch there, and then it folds and sticks to make that sort of shape. Right, so that's the hinge part, and that's where your pockets are going to adhere to. Let me just put glue back on there. Right, I'm going to show you the folder part. Because of the size of the card and the paper, you're going to have to cut the folder in 2 parts. So this part of the folder is going to be cut at 5 inches by 10.5 inches. You're going to score at 3 inches, 3.25 and 4 inches. The second part is going to be 5 inches by 8 inches, and you're going to score at 4.25. So this folder is going to be in 2 parts. So what you're going to do is on the underside stick these 2 parts together. I'd say about a 2-inch place to stick them, just so you got. And then what happens is that comes up there, that folds over there, and that's your folder. So I'm just going to get my tear and tape and just stick this down a couple of inches. Tearing this off. And the idea is I'm going to leave about a 1/4 of an inch gap where the fold line is on the second paper. As I say, the stuck down bit is going to be at the back, so nobody's going to see that. So that's part of your folder, and then all I'm going to do is round these corners. Oops, sorry, I've knocked you. So I'm just going to round the corners. Which I do love this punch with the details. It's got a rounder corner, it's got a ribbon punch, and it's got like a little leaf flower. So that's your folder bit done. So I'm just going to quickly go through the other pockets and show you how I'm decorating them. Because there's enough papers, I can do a different paper for each pocket, which I think is great. So that's my pieces of card I'm going to be using, and I've lost my tear and tape. Somewhere there's my tear and tape on my desk now and I can't see it, which is just great. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's under there. So yeah, putting the angled cuts in there just helps it to fold better, so it doesn't bulk up at the corners. Now this project I actually saw on YouTube by a lady called Crafty Crafts by Dana, and I watch her channel quite a lot. She not only does paper crafting, but she also does sewing and things like that. So this is from her, and I'll link the details below to her video. She may be able to explain it a little bit better than I have today. Right, so we have the next card. So again, I'm using the scraps off the original card, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put them this way this time, and I think that should be fine. So I'm just going to use my tear and tape. Now with this one, I've actually used that's it. I've used another scrap from a different card in the same pack. So all I'm going to do I'm going to put it that way, stick it down, and then I've got my sentiment there. So what I'm going to do is just make sure I've got things straight. I'm going to use my tea ruler, and these tea rulers are excellent. So once you've got the first one down straight, then the others should be okay. As long as I've cut them straight, that is. Which probably may or may not be right. So with this card, I'm using something different. I'm using a different layout. So with this one, I'm just using the actual marks down there. So I'm just going to offset it. Again, I've used Crumb cake for using to the stamp, which is from the stamp set, and on this one I've used a mint macaron. With Stampin' Up, the great thing is that any of the papers that you use, there are the coordinating colours. So with this particular suite, I'll offset it. With this particular suite, you've got a set of the colour card as well. So that's that one. Something a little bit different. I mean, this would be a great gift for somebody, or you could just use it yourself and keep the cards in for, let's say, it's got 5 pockets. You can extend those pockets to however many you want. You just need to increase your size of your hinge and possibly the size of your folder, because there are some elements that are folded at the bottom of the folder to help put the hinge in, so you may need to alter your measurements for that. But it's a good, come on, it's a great way to use your 12 by 12 papers. Now this one here, I've done something a little bit different. I've stamped the candles on from the stamp set. So you've got the candles there and the confetti. I have gone wrong, and I will show you. I went wrong on the first candle. The stripes aren't quite right, but you get the drift of what I'm showing you, that the fact that you've got that stamp set and you can use it just to do one set of these cards. I'm going to pop them there, and I've got one more card to do. And then we can put it together. I think the hardest decision is deciding what sentiments to actually put on your cards, because you've got the coordinating cards or the coordinating papers and everything. And the reason why I use one stamp set is because I could choose from one of 40 stamp sets, to use, but not everybody's got 40 stamp sets. So doing it this way, then at least you get to see how you can do this with a limited amount of stamps. So again, I'm just putting my tear and tape on the back, and these are, as I say, all this card here is from the offcuts from making the pockets. So I'm just going to move my backings. And my desk is a mess now, which is not unusual. I'm just going to use this as my guide again. I did a video a few weeks ago just showing you about essential tools for crafting, and the tea roller was one of them, because it just helps so much. I think in my original design I wanted to leave gaps in between this, but I haven't, so never mind. I'm just going to cut, set, and then maybe I'll put it on an angle, because originally I was going to leave about a 1/4 inch gap in between each paper, and I forgot. So, but never mind, it's still all the same effect. So that's that. So there we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets. Oops. All done. And all I've got coordinating cards in the pockets. Right, the final pocket is the envelope pocket. Now the envelope pocket is slightly bigger, so I've already made this one up. So the measurements for the envelope pocket are 6 inches by 9.5, and you score the same score lines at 1/2 inch and 5.5 inches and 3 3/4. So that'll fit all your envelopes in the pocket. So the final part now is assembly. So this is your hinge, and I find it's best to put the pockets on the hinge first. So I'm just going to put some tear and tape on the back of the hinge. I'm going to put some on the front of the hinge. And then what I'll do is I'll put some on there. So your envelope pocket will go at the back. So I'm just going to tear this off. And position it. I'm just going to take the cards out. So the first pocket I'm going to sit. So you've got your envelope pocket at the back, and that's the last half-inch tab, and the first pocket is going to sit on this one here. So I'll just do that and just sit it on there. Oops, my hair's in the way. Oh, very good. And then the next pocket will sit at the back of that ridge. I'll just make sure I've got it right. Back of that ridge, back of that, and back of that, yes. So, for quickness, I'm going to use a tear and tape. So, I'm going to pop it there. Fold that over. It's probably slightly not quite straight, but never mind. I'm going to again just putting the tear and tape at the bottom, and I'm going to put it there and fold it over. And tape. Over. And the last one. Fold that over. So there are all the pockets attached. Now you may need to just manipulate them a bit if they've stuck. What some might have, because there we go. So that's how it should look. Okay, so that sits there. Right, so I'm just going to bring the final part in. So this is the folder that we made. And what you're going to do is the back of the hinge where the envelopes are. I'm going to use my tear and tape. I'm just going to stick it. What I have done with the previous ones is glued the back of there to the back part of the folder, but I'm just going to stick it down first to make sure I've got everything right. So where the envelope, where the fold is on your 4-inch part of the folder, just put the envelope bit, line that up there so it sits at the back. Oh, that's not straight. Make it a bit straighter. That's better. And then I put some tear and tape at the front of the hinge. And now that is going to sit at the front where the first fold mark was at 3 inches. So I'm just going to fold it onto it. And that is your pocket folder. So there we go. So what I have done with this one is you can put magnets behind and make it a magnet close, but just for simplicity I've just done the belly band, so I've done it in a coordinating colour, and I'm just going to stick that on the back of there. And then that will keep it closed. Now you can decorate the front if you want. On this one I did here, I actually decorated the front of it because I've got magnets on this one. I quite like the idea with the belly band, so all you need to do is slip that off and then pop your cards back in, and I need to put them in the right pockets because if not then it looks silly. In. I'm not finished that one because I need to redo that one. But even if you want to make part made cards and put them in there, you can do, because there's enough room, there's enough space in these pockets, especially for the 9-inch one. So, and there you go, that's the project. I've really enjoyed making this. I've made a few of them. As you can see, I've been using some old DSP paper, so we've got that one there. Made some different ones. This is from the Tranquil Textured paper kit and the coordinating cardstock. So yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll put a link down below to show all the products that I've used, and it's been I've really enjoyed doing this, and it's a good way to use up your scraps. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. Bye bye.